Again, two organizational things first. Just a reminder, the panel at 5:15 today. So please join to that panel. And for the yoga fans, I think tomorrow will again be a yoga session at... No? No? I get information, no?
People say...
Okay, okay, then if...
I don't know.
Okay, so I think they need to sleep, so they don't do yoga. Okay, so now Lars from the infrastructure team of .de will singing for us. Yeah? With his nice talk, a song of DevOps and TYPO3, developing a platform to host TYPO3. So, thank you.
Hello, thank you for coming. Who am I? My name is Lars Liedtke. I degraded, yes. I've got the degree of the Bachelor of Science at the Cooperative State University of Baden-Württemberg. And afterwards I worked at the KIT in the Datacenter, managing big high-performance clusters. Currently, I'm a DevOps engineer at .de in the infrastructure team, and most of the time I develop the server management there and do customer support. The infrastructure team does web hosting, mostly for web agencies. And of course, our internal development teams are our customers as well. We run our own data center and our own servers in this data center. And it started as a classical web hosting and internet services team. Two greybeards in the machine room. And now we're a full-blown DevOps team. We have 2 devs, 2 ops, 2 project managers, and Schorsch, mascot. We try to work agile, as agile as possible, which is not often easy because when a customer calls and says they have problems, all of your planning is gone. And that's why we decided to try Scrumban. We developed the proServer as a platform based on FreeBSD, and we use FreeBSD jails and ZFS. Some or a bit more on that later. And we combined the best of both worlds of managed hosting and root access. Get the full web stack like Nginx, Apache, PHP, MariaDB, and so on. And you have full control over your config files, and you can run all the services you like or stop them like you want. We do all the automation and configuration management with Ansible, a little bit more to that later as well. The challenges we were facing, which led to the development of the proServer, was the progress that was driven by requirements of our customers and our internal people who said, we want this is the new hot shit. So we tried to give all that to them. And performance was always a key factor, and it still is and will ever be. And the IT is a fast-moving world, so we have to try to adapt to that. And we always say that we only host what we are good at. So we try to really fulfill that. And last point of managing complexity is always the thing we have to do, because being 4 people means we need to reduce as much complexity as we can to be able to manage all that. Architecture we thought about and developed is that you have your physical host, your real metal in the data center, and on that run the different jails. First, we did all that with IPv4 and v6 addresses, but IPv4 is legacy, period. The legacy IP stack has got 2 to the power of 32 addresses, and there's no more space you can get if you don't already have allocated address space. We still have some, but it's running out. IPv6 is now, even though some ISPs still have not got the clue of that. We offer IPv6, and if you need IPv4, maybe. IPv6 has got 2 to the power of 128 addresses, and that will last for some time. So we said no more IPv4 for proServers. What we do is we use a NAT64 gateway on the host, and each jail only has an IPv6 address. And the NAT64 gateway translates if requests come over IPv4 and delivers or redirects the request to IPv6 so that your server is still reachable, but it's v6 only. As the data layer underneath, we use ZFS. That was invented at Sun and developed for and on Solaris. And it found its way into FreeBSD, and not that long ago it's running on Linux as well. This machine has got ZFS underneath. I run Linux on ZFS. It's very versatile when you use it with FreeBSD jails, and you can divide your storage into multiple data sets. And each proServer we have has got multiple data sets. Some of them are read-only, some of them can be written to so that you can store configuration stuff or data. And ZFS has some very cool features which we extensively use or make use of. For example, RAID and checksumming. Checksumming means that for each data block on the physical device, the checksum is calculated, and together with this RAID functionality, ZFS detects data corruption and automatically overrides faulty blocks with redundancy, sorry. And another thing which we based our backups on is snapshotting. You can freeze a proServer at its state at a certain point in time, and it costs you, in general, nothing extra first. So we do snapshot every night, and if a customer says, oh, I messed up something and I can't go back, we just put the snapshot in place and it's working again. Additionally, ZFS has compression, and for example, AZ4 can be used directly on your CPU in extra chips. So this is very fast, and you won't even notice that the data is compressed in the background. And there's encryption possible. We came up with the concept of blueprints, and we called them blueprints to not use the word template, because in web development, templates are something else. And every blueprint just delivers you all the things you need, but not more. So you get one version of PHP, for example, and one version of MariaDB or MySQL. And if you need another version, for example, of PHP, we just exchange the blueprint, and then you got the other version. Every blueprint is a specified set of software packages and the OS, of course, and software updates have to be done regularly. So every patch day, we exchange simply the blueprint and your whole system is patched. And our proServers mount the system binaries read-only from the blueprints. That saves a lot of space and makes it possible that we can just exchange the blueprint or upgrade it. We developed all that as infrastructure as code. We use Ansible, which is based on Python, and we just describe what we want, but not how we want it. That's done by Ansible. We use the paradigm of idempotency, so only the things are changed that are not already in place as we want them to be. And all the descriptions are made in YAML files. Afterwards, we run Ansible playbooks for example, if we want to create a new proServer, update it, copy, delete, we just run playbooks, done. Here you can see an example file of one of the proServers, and we just describe, for example, which blueprint we want to use, or who the customer is, which HTTP status we expect for our monitoring, and on which host this proServer has to run, and the sizing, and then it's done. You might say, yeah, but what about Docker? Why don't you use Docker? We could use Docker. It's the elephant in the room, everybody's talking about it. It's very good for development. You just can fire up a container, try something out, destroy it, fine. But if you really want to operate on a big scale in a data center, that's not that simple. If you want to do it properly, you have to build your containers yourself and not just download them from Docker Hub. And you have to manage all yourself and put all the images together yourself. And then you're not that far off from what in the amount of work that we are doing. In a certain way, the process separation in Docker is not really process separation, and most of the security flaws have been due to a lack of proper process separation. And if you want to persist data, you have to go the extra mile to even be able to persist something. If you want to scale out, you you are left with, you have to use Kubernetes, otherwise you can't even manage a big scale-out solution. Then you might ask, why are you not running your own cloud somehow in your data center? But cloud has a very specific use case. Pods have to be as stateless as possible so that you can scale out and run many of them. And there are a lot of things in web development that are not totally stateless. What about that? And how often do you really need to scale out big time? Because, for example, many requests come in or something. And how often do websites just lie around showing something to some users, but you don't really need the big scale out? And as I said before, we wanted a persistent container where you can store data in, which you can restart, and the data is still there. If you are working on a TYPO3 project, we offer the full web stack, as I told you. You get HTTPS with Let's Encrypt, of course, and you can either install your TYPO3 via Composer or get it pre-installed. You can use Solr and Elasticsearch and without any restrictions except hardware restrictions. And you get many extra PHP libraries which are just included. You need another package because it's not already there, just give us a call. Next patch day, it's there. And we're running some pretty big TYPO3 installations on the proServer, for example, notebookcheck.com, which is one of the biggest sites to have articles about new notebook hardware. The latest development we did was a self-service platform so that our customers can create and copy and delete proServers themselves. And of course, we had some caveats and we had some things to learn on the way. There are some trends mostly in the Linux environments which have not yet found or will never find their way into FreeBSD. This might be a good thing, this might be a bad thing, who knows? We feel, of course, the pressure that people are telling us, yeah, but it's so easy with Docker, with Kubernetes, or use the cloud. We just put our stuff onto Amazon and it runs and we don't have to care. Yeah, we feel that pressure. And there's a lot to learn and to keep up with to run a full stack like we do. And I'm working more than a year now at .de and I've not totally grasped all the things that are included in running such a stack. It has been a very, very big effort by the whole team to make this happen, but it works. And it's very satisfying to help people getting their jobs done. What we want to do in the future is extend the self-service platform and offer a REST API so that you can programmatically use the self-service platform. And we have some other projects projects in the pipeline, like modernizing a mail setup and offering an API for registering domains and name servers. Do you have any questions? Take some time.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. You mentioned that you take snapshots of ZFS. Is it also for your databases?
Yes.
And how would you deal with a ZFS snapshot that was taken in the middle of transaction, for example?
I'd like to redirect the answer to Wolfgang because he knows about that better than me.
Okay, hopefully it works. Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, in case we catch the database in the middle of a transaction, we have a half-written transaction buffer. And if we spin up the snapshot, transaction will be rolled back.
If I may just add, so it wasn't with MariaDB or MySQL, but we were also hosting Cassandra. And there we were running into very unfortunate situations where we needed the snapshot. When you don't need the snapshots, they usually are perfect and work extremely well. But when you depend on them and try to recover from the snapshot, it was usually when it was taken somewhere in the middle of the transaction or maybe multiple transactions, and the Cassandra was just not spinning up. So I was interested if maybe there's like a native way in ZFS.
No, it's simply on the block layer. It does the snapshots on the block layer. And if some software can't cope with that, that's really unfortunate, of course. But most of the software we use does not have problems with it.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much.
More questions?
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting talk. I would be interested why you chose BSD over Linux.
That's a bit two-folded. One part was that we were like always using FreeBSD in the past, and the other part is until 2016, ZFS was not in the Linux domain, not properly in the Linux domain, and there are some things as well in FreeBSD where you feel that it's the successor of the original BSD, and that's a cool thing.
Thank you.
More questions? Doesn't look like. Then, Lars, thank you very much.
Thank you all. If you like to get in touch, here are our contact data. And if you think that's a very cool thing, I'd like to work with those guys. We're hiring. Otherwise, connect to us in the Slack channel, proServer, and you can, of course, ask me or Wolfgang or Jörg during the rest of the days if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Klatschen.